Bienvenido. Welcome back to the Compadres farm. It's beautiful November 1st. And we just had Halloween last night. Me and the kid made a jack-o'-lantern out of a huge pumpkin that we grew. Not a pumpkin, a watermelon. Watermelon, excuse me. It was incredible. Okay, so this is called Lies My Worm Guru Told Me. Just kidding. I don't want to throw the worm guru under the bus because he's the man. But we did encounter a few snags in the execution of the worm guru system, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Working on the land, just trying not to be mediocre. Can I do something high quality, done right? One snag that we ran into is I got distracted again by my multi-100-euro mushroom growing business. Yeah, I just had to get over the mushroom factory a little bit more and get my hands dirty. So now I'm back here, once again with dirty hands, which is how I like it. And yeah, let's see what we can do to not be mediocre. And we'll go through the little various things that we have found that are working again, and we're gonna get on it. So welcome aboard. Step one, our worm bins are going super slow. So I have been kind of neurotically adding stuff to them, adding food, coffee grounds, anything I can find, pulling in the organic matter from the food truck. I think that's gonna help. They need some more action. So we're putting more stuff in there. Me and the kid are also going through the old beds, which are full of worms on the ground. It's incredible. The worms are eating the mushroom substrate rich mulch, and it's just covered in worms. So we're taking little handfuls, getting them in buckets, and we're gonna use them to beef up our populations. So welcome aboard. Let's do it. Hey Phoenix, you wanna go grab that bucket of worms that we pulled off the ground? Okay, the very end of August, you might remember from the Worm Guru Part 1. Last part of August, he was here. We installed these beds fresh, put a bunch of horse poop in them, worms, water. And we've been letting them do their thing. These are starting to come to life. I'm seeing worms in here, not as many as I like, but they're in. They're doing something, it's happening. This one's really rocking. I've been tinkering with this one a little bit more. Horse poop, some mushroom grain spawn that failed, and some kitchen scraps. It has a lot more worms. The last two are the old substrate bins. They even had a little worms in them to begin with, but they are struggling. They're just devoid of worms and maybe much activity. Look at this, more worms. I've been putting kitchen scraps in these guys, hoping to get some action going. Anyways, we'll check out the worms in their natural habitat where they're thriving, and then try and coax them into breeding in captivity. So, come on. Okay, this is a great example of what we were talking about. Okay, this bed was kind of a neglected bed of some medicinal herbs, in this case valerian, which is a soothing tea for those of you who have trouble going to sleep, like me, because I'm too wild and too caffeinated. This is actually pretty compacted this summer because we didn't have much on it. Gonzalo went through again. Man, the guy is a legend. And we have some fresh substrate on here, and the worms came up with a rain to eat this mushroom substrate. They're here, they like this stuff. How do we get them to really go hog wild in the bins? I think they need rainwater, or they need more moisture. And something about the rain, it hits the ground, they go up and they're partying in this stuff. There's worm eggs.
There's tons of worms.
Tons of worms. Yeah, so in one handful, we were pulling up a bunch of worms. So there's probably like triple the amount of worms in this bed than in our best worm bin right now.
Karate.
Oh man, good Lord. This is what we needed, man. We needed a reservoir of worms that we could broadcast. I don't even know if we go to the worm bins. Maybe we just go straight into the cortisa and give it some substrate on the ground.
Look how many eggs there are.
Whoa, cool,
Wow.
man. Yeah.
Look how many.
So we have a reservoir of worms in the ground. Came out of nowhere. Our worm bins are kind of empty. So we're harvesting from the reservoir and trying to judo flip them into more activity. What can you do? And then here's where I feel like the Worm Guru's advice and our execution just fell flat. I was surprised when he said, hey, let's put the cortisa, inoculate them and plant straight into it. And then we can plant into that in the spring.
It's better to do it together.
Do it at the same time?
Yeah.
We can plant into these?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Like I said earlier, the Worm Guru, he puts a handful of worm casings in the plants, gives them something to work off of until the cortisa breaks down. We didn't have any of that, so we put it in, inoculated, hand watered a little bit. This was planted full of cabbage, but it looks like it all died. So my feeling is that the Cortisa is just flat out not ready to plant directly into. Because the Cortisa looks like beautiful dirt, but it's just acidic dust. It needs to be broken down. We need to be patient, we need to be smarter, unfortunately, and more focused.
That would be great.
That's right, we're growing in a brick. What we're gonna do is we're gonna load this up with substrate from the mushrooms, which is full of the stuff the worms seem to be eating. We're gonna go heavier on the extract, and we're gonna plant in a little handful of worm casings and start over. And this bed is really weak, really weak. Everything died. This is an old worm-filled bed. Not incredible, but they're definitely doing better. We also got really hammered by these white cabbage butterflies. That also took its toll on the brassicas. What we're doing for that, we found this product that's a bacterium. It's a natural pesticide, completely organic, all super groovy. When the caterpillars eat this bacterium, it paralyzes their stomach and then they just die. So, you know, one of these things can destroy a broccoli plant in just a day or two, or a kale or a cabbage or something. So we're gonna start applying that once a week, consistently, focused, using nature against itself. That's the human way. But yeah, these were already bit up. These are already bit up, and we sprayed them last Friday. To summarize, the Cortisa is barren. It needs more life, needs more time, and needs some more worms. So without that, I think it's kind of futile to plant directly into it. Right, Omri? All right, we'll be back. We'll be back, and now as we fade into wintertime, hopefully we can get some cabbage growing. We're gonna be working on making the farm badass for next spring. That's what we're all about, right?
Yeah.
All right.
If you want to see if our measures are working, hit the like button and subscribe and stay tuned for our next video.